Well, hello. Leavers and believers. Welcome to Leading Hillsong. My name's Tanya, and you have arrived at the right time and the right place in history, as they used to say, because we've got another great episode, and I'm just thrilled to be able to bring to you more of the Grifter Highway. As I said to you last time, the contribution that this person has made to our entire community in the last couple of years is just phenomenal. Janice Lagata started a podcast called God Has Not Given right before Carl Lentz was thrown out of the Hillsong church that she had attended for quite some years in New York. And since that podcast began, things have just grown and grown, and the wisdom that has come out of Janice in this conversation is, it's just so rich, and that's why I decided to cut it up into a bunch of pieces. And I didn't actually realize this one was a little bit shorter than usual, but so we've talked about how Janice had gone to Bible college in Australia, and then ended up not too long after that at the start of Hillsong, New York City. And we've talked a lot about the Henry VIII Caligula style just debauchery that's gone on in that place, and the report that was commissioned by itself about itself. So many things that Janice sees coming up. So grab those snacks, kick back, and enjoy the final part of the Grifter Highway with Janice Lagata from God Has Not Given.
This is how the company runs. These people, this is their reasonable service. God needs this money because God needs to pay me. And so you guys are what God is using to bless me, the same way I am what God is using to bless you. I'm blessing you with these words and, this fun experience. And now you need to bless me to make sure my lifestyle, is keeping me happy and well, so that I can keep coming here and giving you, putting on the show that you like. So this is how it works. I'm giving what I have to give. You could probably give this too, but nobody wants to hear from you. So the best thing you can do is support me and to support this going on. So give your money to God so that he can give it to me, and then mind your business. You gave it to God. Why are you worried about what I'm doing?
Yeah, by the time we get to that level of extravagance, though, like my quickest one is always like the times when Brian would spend $12,000 to change a flight, not to catch a flight, to change a flight. Like, what happens to you that you end up where that's just normal?
That's just normal.
But then to get up and tell people that, like they're going to rob God if they don't give that before tax or whatever it is, that extra, it's just, and then these are the endless rhetorical questions, but how do you, when do you, with
some of this,
you?
I don't know. And sometimes I'm happy I don't understand why Brian Houston thinks that's okay. Because if I understood that, then I'd be the same as him. If I'm like, no, that makes perfect sense to me. Only 12,000 to change a flight? Yeah, of course. Right? Like, this is how out of touch, out of step, just disconnected from reality these people are. And with all of that, something that gives me joy, in thinking about them and all the money that they spent with. They're not good with money. Like, they love that scripture, right? Shall a man rob God? But then there's another one that talks about, putting your money in a bag with holes in it. And that's what you guys have done. Like, how have you been grifting this long, taking from people this long? And, we're not even, no, I guess we're a full year out now, from Brian being taken down. But, it wasn't even a couple of months. And Bobby, you're on Instagram selling your clothes. Already, like, we're there already, where you're having to sell your house, sell clothes. Like, we're already there. I wouldn't be destitute, right? Like, like that fast. So it's like, you guys, you had
What
all
was
of
that
this,
about?
and you weren't. Again, you're just a bunch of stunted adolescents. You're not smart. You're not good with the money. And so you also got trapped into this because, if I were Brian Houston, I just feel like I just would have set it up better. I would have said, okay, I'm grifting for my life here. So let me get this certain amount and let me figure out how people manage their money. Let me put it in some accounts. Let me do some things and set myself up so that when it's time to exit, I can just exit and be done. But these people, they just don't have the sense God gave a goat. Like, you guys how are you on Struggle Street already? And you have no other life skills. You have nothing else. So this has to work for you. So you have to come back and you have to be out here in these streets looking stupid. You look crazy, but you have to, because you don't know how to function outside of this world.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder, is it like what that was all about, or if it's just a never-ending attention-seeking thing? I mean, do you think they were really low on cash? I mean, it was such an invasive, weird thing, that garage sale they held. But then, see, my other thing is nothing seems to come of it. So they've broken all these laws. We had Barry Bowen talking about putting a report together for the IRS because they're organized crime. And yet, here we all sit. Do you think anything will come out of this? I mean, or where do you see a future for Hillsong on your side of the ocean?
I mean, Hillsong is faltering and failing, and it will continue to fail. Like, Hillsong's best days are behind it. It's not gonna best is not yet to come. It's not gonna rebound. It's not gonna come back. It may continue to limp along, and I don't know. I don't really care. Like something that just stood out to me in the report was like, these people are not happy. These people are miserable.
Yeah.
They don't like each other. They don't trust each other. They're not going home at the end of the day and like feel like, oh, like I did a lot of good and I had a great time with my coworkers. Like, they're not, these people are suffering. They're bad people. And again, I don't have a better developed conscience than these people. Like, they have consciences. They have to know that you're a bad person. You're out here doing shitty things to people. And maybe you didn't know. Maybe you are just a sociopath and, you didn't know. And so you've been fine. You've been abusing people. You knew you were abusing them. You were happy about it and all of that. Well, if nothing else, people know now. And that's going to make you unhappy, because there will be people who are just going to die on this hill, right, for evangelicalism. And they're going to support you till, the ends of the earth. But ultimately, those aren't the people you want. Like, you can't respect someone you're hustling, right? So if you are just surrounded by people that you have hustled, you're still going to feel, like, I'm not pulling a real con. Like, these people are easy. You're still going to want to be in the rooms with the cool people. Like, So the audience that you have, the audience that is going to die on the hill with you, you don't even want them. So you're like, these people are just unhappy all the way around. And there's nothing like, it doesn't do anything for me if Brian Houston goes to jail. Like, I mean, I guess,
Yeah.
just the
Yeah.
schadenfreude of it all, just be like, haha, I guess. But it doesn't, no, I wish these people would be convicted by their consciences to be like in the scriptures, right? These people who had an actual encounter with Jesus, and nobody had to arrest them, nobody had to do anything when they said, oh my goodness, I'm going to return 10 times what I stole. I realize now the error of my ways, and I want to make reparation. And the fact that these people that they don't want to, says to me, well, you're still a shitty person having a shitty experience. And you can't hear all these stories, have all these people continuing to come out and say, that system that you were a part of, that system that you were over was harmful. Here's how it harmed me. Here's how it harmed this person. Like, you can't hear that and not be affected. So for me, I mean, the most justice most of us are ever going to see is just knowing that these people are not happy. They might pretend to be, and they might, temporarily have more money. They're out here losing bigger sums of money than we can afford to, but they're not happy. They're not.
Oh, no. I mean, the thing I believe would make him the most unhappy is if his citizenship were denied or he wasn't allowed to kind of retire in Newport Beach over there in California. That would be honestly, I think, a way greater punishment than whatever in a jail cell. With this country, but yeah. And I don't know what will happen there. I do not know. I believe this crime is considered, that he's been charged with, is considered a crime of moral turpitude, which means that he won't be allowed entry to the United States. I don't know. I've also been told that he's renounced his Australian citizenship and has an American citizenship, just didn't mention it. So that would be a punishment there. What do you think we see in the future of old the Lentzes? So Carl Lentz and stuff. So he's up and moved to Oklahoma, non-pastoral. What do you see as a trajectory there? I've got my own bets put on the race.
I mean, they don't know any other life than this, than evangelicalism. Carl Lentz is a lazy man, and he's just like a dog returning to his vomit. He's gonna go back to that world and try to make it. He hasn't changed. He's not repentant for anything. So the cycle is just going to repeat itself, however long it takes, if it's not repeating itself already. And, however public or not his next fall may be, there will be another fall. He is who he is. And he's been given no reason. He has taken no reason to change that. It's hard. It's hard as a regular, deconstructing person whose livelihood wasn't tied to the church. And again, he's lazy. He just doesn't have the stamina. Do I think Carl Lentz believes in God and Jesus and justice and anything? No. I think it's a role, and he's going to play it because he needs money. He needs attention. But yeah, it didn't save him before, and it's not going to save him now. So
it's interesting that you say he hasn't got the patience to actually put in the hard work behind the scenes kind of stuff. I wonder how soon it'll be before something gives again, when you try to juggle and grift and put in another 10 years and have people get so
yeah. And it's a different world now, right? Like, evangelicalism has only become crazier and more stratified, so he can't move in as many circles anymore. And there are still circles that don't want him back and who won't take him back. So it's just going to be, he's going to have to find a new a new lane on the Grifter Highway, and you know, people move on and things move on. You know, Mark Driscoll has been able to kind of rebound and keep going because Mark Driscoll planted his own church before. Like Carl Lentz has done none of this. Like he's always been riding someone else's wave, and he'll always be at the mercy of someone else.
Now, apart from the podcast and many appearances, tell us about your book. We're looking at life since Hillsong. Tell us about your new book.
The Gift of God. It's just, yeah, a little evangelical, ex-evangelical game book. You know,
Love it.
we spend so much time in these spaces. We can fill in the blanks. We can write the scripts for how things are going to go. And so that's basically what my book is. You can, you know, ad lib a whole church service. So
where do we find it?
Ask about it on Amazon. Ask for me, or Janice Lagata. Go get it. It's a good time.
Did we leave anything out? Is there stuff we still need to cover? I want to give you an evening as well. I don't want to hold you up all night. I so didn't do what I said we would. I don't know.
Because it's too much. There will always be
I don't
more.
want to.
There will always be things. There is more. There is more.
So can you come back on another day?
You think there's more?
There is always so much more. I want to give you a night. It kind of almost felt like playing into the scandal of the grime and the grit and the like Leona and her videos and stuff. I don't want to go, that was a huge problem, but it's not. That's not the story. That wasn't the story. Do we say goodnight? Do I let you go? I don't know. Should I leave something out? I feel terrible.
I mean, no. I think it's a big story, and it's not over, right? Like it continues to unfold. Hillsong continues to exist. People continue to leave. People continue to realize what they were a part of, and and grapple with that. So it's never. Not that it'll never be over, but we're hundreds of years from the impact of Hillsong dying out. But for all the ways that documentary failed, you're here. I'm here. Social media has changed. Podcasting, did it even exist? It didn't exist when Hillsong started. And so the stories are out here, and the stories will always be out here. Like the cool thing about all of our podcasts, right, is unless we do something, they'll always be there. So there are people who will walk out of Hillsong next week and who will go back to where you were 3 years ago, right, and start their journey. So we can be walking people through the whole time, and we're going to keep walking and realizing new things about Hillsong, about ourselves, about life. And the people who are running Hillsong, the Brian Houstons, the Carl Lentzes, the Phil Doolittle, like everyone who's still stuck in the system is going to stay stuck in the system unless they make a choice that most of them are not going to make because it's just too hard. It's not just losing the world that you know. It's also realizing how much repair you owe and just not wanting to do that work. So I'm thankful, to be out here on this side of things at this time. Like we're on the winning side now. You've been out here a long time.
The more and more comes out. I have concerns that, like you said, they're not very good with their money. They're not very good at covering up what they do either. And you got to wonder what they're really hiding. Seriously, like what, if this was the garbage on top of the cesspool or whatever metaphor, like what else? Like what's next? So yeah, I'm grateful for you. Thank you for speaking up as always, and strongly and boldly, and not holding back. You know. Thank you for being you, Janice. Really. Respect. Thank you.
It's all I know how to do at this point. So
Have a great night.
thank you. And you have a great day.
Bye. Bye.
See ya.
And a huge thank you to Janice for just sharing all of that with us and spending that time just shooting the breeze. That's all we can shoot. Thank you. Thank you for being a part of this community by listening in and sharing this conversation and being a part of it. I love how this community builds and grows, and it's just full of a bunch of not the most straightforward characters in the world, and the interactions are often so fun, and we're all just learning and bumping and dodging carring around the place because lots of interesting experiences in everyone's background. Do make sure you check out God Has Not Given. There's loads more of this slaying where that came from. And do check out Janice's book, Gift of God. It's an Amazon available thing. A little reminder that Reading Hillsong, where we read Hillsong texts, is currently doing You Need More Money by Brian Houston. Make sure you listen in. Reading Hillsong is available on all regular podcast platforms like this one. Couple of issues with YouTube, but we'll be there soon. We've done the whole of Being Frank by Hazel Houston, 100 Men by Hazel Houston, and now we're doing You Need More Money by Brian Houston. So whether you want to read a chapter along with us or just listen in to the historical holy texts of the Houstons, make sure you check out Reading Hillsong. Thanks for sticking around. Thanks for your support, your comments, your feedback. It just means so much, and I'm so strengthened by your support. People reach out and they're so kind and so open, and it's just fantastic. Thank you. Keep liking and subscribing and sharing and all that kind of stuff. Get in touch if you want to share your story. The rules are there are no rules. You are able to share your story confidentially and tell it the way you want to tell it. It's just really hard because I never know whether people are busting to tell their story or don't want to be asked. So it makes it a lot easier if you send me a message, then I don't have to worry about bugging anyone. We're going to be 2 on the 18th, and we'll have a very special guest for our 2nd birthday. Thank you so much for being with me on this journey. I hate that word journey, but it's been this real trek of a thing, and it's been just so great to have your support. Those of you that have been through some of the longer hauls here and watched this thing grow, the stats are up, the message is getting out. We've got people from everywhere from, Australia and United States, Sweden, Germany, Ghana, all kind of places. And someone said to me the other day, there's loads of people who aren't actually Hillsong based that would be listening. So find out where people are from. So if you want to give us a message and let us know, how this applies to your situation, if that's a non-Hillsong situation, and any other ideas or things that you'd like to see in the content. Can't guarantee it, but let me know. So what you really need to do as well until then is keep being kind to yourself. Don't need to beat up on yourself. It's not going to get you anywhere. Give yourself room to breathe and grow, and it'll be a bit easier to be kind to other people. Superpower that kindness is. Keep at it. Keep leaving Hillsong. And we'll talk soon. Bye.